very good morning to you. It's Tuesday the 31st of July 2019. Look, I've discovered this amazing new thing I can do with my iPhone 8. Not that I'm a miserable old git.
I thought you'd enjoy that. It's just something I discovered I could do last night, actually, on the mobile phone. I sent a few little videos of that round to people. Were you lucky enough to get one of those yesterday? It's amazing. There's all sorts of little faces you can change yourself and send videos, sort of changed videos. What's the other one? The pirate one's good. I'll try and remember to do the pirate one for you tomorrow morning. Okay, boys and girls, we're a very good morning to you. Very windy this morning. It was ever so windy yesterday. Funnily enough, yesterday afternoon it was windy. And last night it did chuck it down quite hard, and again very windy again last night. But there we are. Never made it to the swimming pool unfortunately yesterday. I had so much to do yesterday. I bought a wisteria up from the house in a pot, which I wanted to re-put in a big pot, which I had got a spare one here on earth and what have you. And I'm trailing it up along the kind of edge fence, which is rotting away, of the veranda down there. So I think that'll look quite nice in a couple of years' time. I have a wisteria in my garden in the house, and it's just massive. It's taken over like the whole corner of the garden. And when it flowers in the springtime, it's just the most amazing smell. Beautiful little purple flowers hanging down all over the place. Unfortunately, like most flowers, it only lasts a couple of weeks. Although that's not the least, what would you say, the least lasting flowers that I've come across. The least lasting flowers seem to be poppies. You get these beautiful, great big red poppies that you can buy either as a plant or whatever. Put them in the ground and they tend to keep coming back. And the massive flowers, all beautiful red and black, bit of black in the middle. 2 days later, gone. You know, so it's funny how us gardeners, amateur gardeners like myself and professional gardeners, we spend all this time doing stuff throughout the whole year, and then for 2 days you get a flower. That's why, you know, when you're doing gardening and that, you should get stuff that comes up at different times of the year. That's why you put bulbs in and look at, when you buy a plant, look at when it's going to flower. Don't buy everything that says flowers in June, because you'll have a wonderful display in June and then nothing till next year, you know. Right, let's have a look here. First message of the day goes to Shania. There we are, Shania. So, being as it's the last day of July, I actually photographed that this morning. Yeah, would you like to see? Would you like to see? Because sometimes people, I didn't see. I'm sure I was the first one. You get that, a lot of that sometimes. But sometimes if you, depending where you come in, you can't see the messages above you. Well, I can, and here it is. I think you're going to be able to see this. Hang on a minute. Let me just make it bigger. Can you see? Yes, I think. Yes, you can. There you go. Shania at the top there. Adrian Richardson, a very close second. Shania, her first message in at 9:13 and 50 seconds. Adrian Richardson, 9:13 and 55 seconds. Mark Jones, 9:13 and 56 seconds. And onwards and downwards. So there we are. Congratulations to Shania, who wins with 7 messages in. I mean, that's practically a quarter of the month, isn't it, dear? That is what you call dedication, but dedication, ooh, dedication, ooh, dedication. That's what I need if you want to be the best. If you're talking about the best, that swimmer was on the telly this morning on BBC Breakfast. Who's that? What's his name? He's got blonde hair and he keeps winning everything. Oh, gorgeous. He's sitting there, legs wide apart on the sofa in those tight I think it was revealing of muscle revealing white trousers that he had on this morning. I had to have a late. That's why we're late this morning. I had to lay down. It was all too much for a middle-aged man early on in the morning. It was really too much. So there we are. Morning, Shania. Congratulations then. You will be winning our little item when it comes. Now, don't forget, shut up. Don't forget, gang, there are quite a few of these to win. And now that we've given out that for the first message of the day, next month we're going to see who can share the show the most times to their walls. Now, if you want to try that now, feel free, but I won't be starting that until tomorrow. And I shall be making a, I don't know how, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to, but I'm going to try and make a note of how many times I think I can see who shared the show and how many times you've done it on various groups or other people's walls. Now, don't start pissing people off, right? Don't keep posting. Why do you keep posting that on my wall? Oh, I want to win a prize. Now, some people might accept that, which is fair enough. But other people, oh, don't say that on my wall. That's my wall. And nothing else wants to enter. I put that on my wall. Get it off. Don't start upsetting people, for God's sake. But I think we'll try that next month. Okay, which starts tomorrow. August tomorrow. God, blimey. Can't believe how we've got to August already. So I've been back here at the caravan, April, May, June, July. 5 months I've been coming up here now. It don't seem possible. It don't seem possible that all that time has suddenly gone. I can't believe. Now, my neighbours. Nothing wrong with my neighbours. They're nice people, but they're a bit close to my caravans. You know what I mean? And I'd rather have, more space. But nevertheless, they're there and I'm here. And when they're there, I tend to keep the blinds closed. I like a bit of privacy, I do like a bit of privacy. I've only seen them once since April. I can't complain really, can I? Well, there's a lot of people on this caravan site. They're up here very rarely. They pay all that money. I say all that money. It's not an enormous amount in comparison to other caravan sites. The ground rent here this year was £1,400. Okay, most sites you'll find them in the £3,500 bracket, which is a substantial amount of money, I think. But a lot of the people here, and the same at the ones that are £3,500, they come 3 or 4 times a year. It's just doesn't seem to be worth it. Me coming up here all the time, it's worth it. Which I'm about to spend a little bit more money on the caravan, which I'll tell you about in a minute. So there we are. Adrian Richardson, good morning to you. Where was I going with that conversation? Was I going somewhere with that? We done that, did we? I was talking about sharing the show to your walls. That's how we do it. We'll see if we can give a prize to the person who shares each show in the morning the most times. Okay? So, for example, if you was to share your show in 5 places, wherever that is, in a group or on a walls, this morning, you would get 5. And then if you shared it again tomorrow morning on another 3 walls, so that would be another 3. So you've got 8 altogether. And we'll calculate that as the time goes on. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to see, but we're just going to have to try it for a few days and see how it goes. All right? That's for the people on Facebook. I've yet to think of a way that we can give a prize to the people on YouTube. I've still not thought of that. So if you've got any suggestions, okay, then fire them through, because I'm really not sure how we can do it for the YouTube people as well, but we'll see. Good morning to Adrian Richardson. Sorry, mate, you were 5 seconds off this morning. You could have tied with Shania, but you didn't. Shania's got the extra point. 7 for Shania. Adrian got 5. He was in second place. And then a few people got 2. Mark Jones got 2. Heidi got 2, I think. Michael Pullman got 2. Mike Rees-Ponto got 2. Okay, and then lots of people had 1 each. So congratulations, Shania. Your little thing will be coming probably next week. It should arrive at my house next week, so the week after. So not next week, the week after. If it's at my house next week when I get back there, then I'll show you what it is on Saturday. But I do not want to. It keeps the excitement going, doesn't it? I can hear you all now. Oh, tell us what it is. No, it's like Christmas. It's like Christmas. People giving Christmas presents before Christmas. No, it's not Christmas. Oh, I'll give it to them for Christmas. And Christmas Day comes, you got no presents because you've had them all. Where's the excitement? See how I build the excitement here? But like a general election, isn't it? Who's going to win the next one? Poor old Jeremy. I think he's on his last legs now. I really do. Russ Philip Vernon, good morning. Mark Jones, good morning. Morning to my sister Sharon Butler. That's a funny year, she says. What's a funny year? What are you talking about there, sis? My sister there. I went to visit her yesterday. Morning to Diane Jebb. Ray Reynolds is in the house. Good morning, Ray. Morning to Paul Mosley. Am I first in? You're having a laugh, and you're like 2 minutes behind everyone else, Paul. Either you're not getting up early enough or your internet connection is incredibly slow. What is it? Are we running slow today? I think we are. Also there on the YouTube as well. Good morning to Dino. Dino. Morning, Dino. Hello to Robert Lunn. The competition is a fix. Let me tell you, it doesn't matter whether you're doing an unimportant competition, for example, a general election, or a karaoke competition, very, very important. Well, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Whatever the result is, there will be an enormous amount of people that say, it's a fix, it's a fix, all the time, don't they? Hello to Michael Pullman, morning. Ian Days, morning Ian, welcome along to the show. Stu Crook, good morning Stu, welcome. Emma Hegarty, hello. Emma's in the box office at Les Mis. Oh, I've seen that, Emma. Is that where you work? At Les Mis. How wonderful. What a love. Oh, I say it's a wonderful job. I don't suppose it is really just stuck in that little box all day giving out the tickets. Is it? Is it a bit boring, that job? No, don't tell your manager. Well, you haven't got me on speaker, have you? No, Emma loves her job very much. She absolutely loves her job, and she should be given a rise as soon as possible. It's only her selling. If she weren't there, you'd have no show to put on, would you? Pay her more money, dear. Who's with you? Is that Andrew Lloyd Webber in the background I can see there? Was he making himself a cup of tea at the back? Hello to Maureen, texting in this morning. Morning, Maureen. Hello to Brandon, welcome along. Autumnal greetings. You're absolutely right, Ray. The wind outside, it really was quite substantial, that wind last night. And as I say, I put my wisteria, I kind of trailed it up the fence. Remember, I've told you before, this caravan takes the full force of the wind. I'm on the end. In front of me is fields. And I'm watching this wisteria with its leaves frantically blowing backwards and forwards, and I'm wondering how well the wisterias do in windy weather, because it might not like the position, but we'll see what happens. Hello to Thomas, a very good morning to you, Thomas, over on Vaughan Live. Claire's there. Hello, lovely Claire. Good morning to you, Claire. Paul is just getting up as usual, 9:15, mind you, that's about the time I got up yesterday morning, to be honest. Shania, it would have been 8 points if you'd given me 2 points last week. No. Oh, yeah, it would have. Yeah, because we had... sometimes the show doesn't start properly, or we might have a technical fault, in which case it disappears and we restart, depending how far we're in. If we're only a couple of minutes in, I'll restart the whole thing again. If it's gone further than that, I'll try and pick up from wherever I am. If I can't get back on, we just walk away, and then the next day. And we did a bit of a false start last week. And Shania did get the first message in, actually, on the false start. And we went for about 30 seconds before I realised there was something wrong. Oh, hang on a minute. There's something wrong today. I know what my sister's going on about now. We got the wrong... One of the things I constantly forget to do is to correct the date at the top of the programme. So I don't think I can do it once it's gone. I bet it says Tuesday, doesn't it? Oh, it does annoy me, that does. Every morning, it's the one thing that halfway getting ready, I said, I haven't done the date. Every morning. Let's see if I can change. I don't know if I can change that now. Right. That should change them all, but if you're already with us, I don't think it changes it. See the YouTube, everything will be wrong. It will all say Tuesday now, and as you know, it's Wednesday. Let me see if I can change one of them at least. Oh, every time, I'm so annoyed with myself at not getting things right sometimes. And I know certain members who are watching at the moment love to point out when there's a fault, don't you? Oh, they kind of look for anything that might be wrong, and they're very proud of themselves when they've found something that's wrong. Right, let me see if I can change this, at least on the Facebook one. Otherwise, you see, the trouble is, if you don't get the date right, people think they're watching a blooming recording from yesterday. There it is, that's wrong, isn't it? There we are. Let's do Wednesday. Let's see if that changed now. Oh, every time I do it. 31st of I can't even spell Wednesday. Wednesday. That's it. Saved. Come on, save it. Right, so that should change the YouTube one. Sorry, the Facebook one. Can we do the YouTube one as well? Do you mind? You don't mind, do you? There it is. Look at that. Wrong up there now. Shocking. 31st. We'll change the YouTube one. The other ones I can't change. I can't change the Periscope one and the other one like that. Thank you, sis. I did wonder what you were going on about. Actually, I wonder what my sister's going on about most of the time. She shrieks a lot. Do you know? I don't want to do that. Thank you very much. Good morning to Nathan White. Nathan White, who says you need a new job. What third world country are you from? The United Kingdom, Nathan. Have you never been here? This isn't a job, Nathan. It's a hobby. Hobby. Do you know what a hobby is? Have you got a hobby? What's your hobby? Looking for faults in people? Hey, you enjoy that. Can your neighbours hear you doing your shows as they're so close? I do hope so. You know, the more the merrier, let's be honest. Good morning to Mikey Allen. Good morning, young Mikey Allen. All right. Paul, how about an admin of the week on YouTube? Oh, I don't see how that's going to work. Admin of the week. What the admin member who can block the most amount of people. That might not necessarily be a good idea. Hello to Matt James Perrin. Good morning to you, sir. Shania's very excited about her little prize. What's the show, Dave? Well, if you watch a little bit more often, you might work it out yourself. Claire was ill yesterday. Oh, not food poisoning. Oh, God. Oh, my heart goes out to you. The worst case I had of that was burgers. What had happened is, years ago, my freezer had failed, had gone off. I can't remember why. I don't remember why the freezer had gone off. Maybe a plug had come out or something like that. Anyway, so I just left it and everything froze again. Then I had some of the burgers. I mean, how stupid. Instead of chucking them away, because you shouldn't really eat food that's been frozen and is defrosted and frozen again. Certainly, definitely not meat. I don't know if it's the same with vegetables or not, but very, very dangerous. So I hope you're better this morning, Claire. Good morning to Gary Davidson. Morning. And Jason Childers. Hello to Matty P. There's Matt Perrin. He's also on the Facebook there as well. He's on YouTube as well. John Aitken, can't believe it's August tomorrow. This year is certainly flying by. August, September, October, November, December. Shocking. Got a couple of holidays coming up. October. Booked is Haven Holidays. That's with my nephew and his little family. We'll be going to Mablethorpe for a week. I think early October. And then somewhere in November, I'll be going to Cyprus. So 2 holidays coming up. Only a week each. They're only like cheapy type holidays. My niece is in Cyprus, living in Cyprus at the moment for a little while. So that's why I'm going over to see her and her little family. Robert's looking for aircon for his lodge. Can you recommend any good deals? Robert, that's funny you should say that, Robert. Funny you should say that. That's one of the things I did yesterday. As you know, in here, I've got like a combination of, I've got this portable air conditioner, which really didn't cope in my bedroom. Certainly not in that very, very hot weather that we had the other day. It just couldn't cope. I've also got various gas heaters and fan heaters dotted all over the place. Loads of different ones. And they all do the job to a point. I decided... the living room has no air conditioning. It's incredibly hot in that living room. So hot. It's so hot that when you have a fan on, okay, all you do in very hot weather, it blows the whole hot air at you. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to be really, really hot outside for that to happen. The sun, simply the sun on the big metal box known as a caravan, you know, is good enough to make it really hot. So I decided to spend a little bit of money, and I'm having air conditioning come heating putting in. They put the things, you know, the proper things on the wall. You have one in the living room. We can have as many as you want. I'm having one in the living room, and one in the bedroom. And these do cold air and heating. And that's one of the things I had to do yesterday. And I signed all the forms and what have you. And they're coming to do that next week. Bloke from Yorkshire he is, which isn't too far from here. He travels all over the country doing air conditioning and all that business. And he specialises in caravans. So I'm having that done tomorrow. All right. Let me see if do you want the name of the company? I don't know. Whereabouts are you, Robert? It depends where you are, you see. You know, if you're too far away from him, then... Oh, Ben Parker's there. Good morning, Ben. I'll give you a ring later if you need cheering up. I shall give you a ring. Let's have a look. See if I can find the name of the company for you. There he is. That's the bloke there. That's it. It is... Oh, no. Is it... I haven't got it here now. Oh, how annoying. Hang on, let me check my emails for you. Let's see if I can get it on the emails. Have you got a pen, Robert? I mean, you can try him, or you can wait until I've had mine in and then have it as a recommendation. Probably more what you want doing, isn't it? Why don't you wait until I've had mine installed and I can tell you of my experience with the company? That would be the better thing to do. All right? If you want to private message me about that, Robert, my email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, right? chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Yeah, Matty's cousin does aircon. See, it's funny you mention that, and then suddenly all these other people do it as well. So you always find someone who can do that. It's quite. I think more and more people are getting that in this country. Okay. Ian Day says it now says the 32nd of July. Is that what it says? Oh, does it? Oh, I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing it again. Does it really say 32nd of July now? Oh, for God's sake. Really? Is that on YouTube? I don't know. Hello to Roy's the boy. Good morning. Passeribo, Stella Andrews. Ray Reynolds looks in his diary. It's 1 year exactly since you had the river with the backdrop, when we had a river behind us. Do you remember I had that picture done and it was all a river? We changed that recently because I got fed up with the picture, really. That's the reason. Stella's back in the UK for August. Hope the weather's going to be good for me. And I remember the days you'd be around the black cap screeching. Your voice still hasn't broken. I hope not. I don't want to start sounding old. Really old. John's going to Scarborough for a few days. Oh, you're like that. No, there's nothing wrong with Scarborough or places like that. That says 31st of July on YouTube. I think you're lying to me, aren't you? Nothing wrong with... Oh, Skegness. Will he go to Skegness, Robert? I'm sure he would. Wait till next week, Robert. Let's wait till the bloke puts it in before you sign up with anyone. And I'll let you know my experience. I'll take some photos as well if you like. And I'll let you know the experience, okay? All right? But if you want my email, I'll give you the price on that. And I don't like to reveal money things on here. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Good morning to Brandon, who's in Hamilton, Ohio, in the United States. Michael Lawrence wants to know what the prize was. I haven't told anyone yet, Michael. I'm waiting for them to arrive. Okay, I'm waiting for them to arrive at the moment. When they arrive, which should be next week, I hope. I reckon it's going to be next week. They said this, I think the 6th to 8th of August or something like that. When they arrive, I will show you what it is, what you could win through various activities. Okay, as I say, the next way we'll do it is for people sharing the show on their walls. Vectis, give Shania a point back, otherwise I'll send the boys round. Well, I'd rather have that or the violin than the violin, to be honest. Shania plays the violin at church and various other places. And when people upset Vectis, he sends Shania around to their houses and they make them sit there and listen to her playing the violin. Oh, aren't you awful? I'm still not decided what hymns I want to play on Sunday. I might be going with He Who Would Valiant Be. Do you like that one, Shania? Da 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 da. Perhaps I should go around the church and have like a lottery. You know, for just £1 each, all donations, of course, going direct to the church, not to me. For just £1 each, people can write down the hymn that they want and put it in a box. And then whatever one gets picked out by Father, you know, possibly after the Eucharist, or during the sermon, and doing the sermon. And so he gave out the 5 loaves and the 10 fishes and blessed them and fed everyone. Thank you. Okay, right now we're going to do the hymn lottery. Brings out a big tombola thing. 2 of the altar people. It's not just altar boys now. Altar boys and girls. 2 of the altar people. Is that the correct term now? Altar people. Altar servers. 2 of the altar servers wheel on this great big tombola thing with all flashing lights and stuff like that. And Father starts turning it like that. And the winning hymn is Praise My Soul, the King of Heaven. And everyone starts clapping. And lights start flashing. And Simon Cowell makes a special appearance at the side of the altar. What do you reckon? Is that going to work for you, Shania? Oh dear. Where's my little list of things to chat about today? Yes, so I went to my sister's yesterday after I'd put the wisteria up because I had to sign some forms for the air conditioning and heating system to be put in the caravan, which is happening next week because I don't have a printer here. I'm very, very basic set up in here. A couple of old cheap computers. That's about it in here, really. There's nothing of value really or new stuff. I haven't got any new stuff in here. Then that was it. We had a nice little walk actually yesterday with my sister. She needed to go to the post office. And I said, I'll come and walk through there. And as we got out the door, she said, shall I take the car? I'm like, no, don't take the car. That's the whole point of me coming out, to have a walk with you down to the post office, because I didn't do any exercise yesterday. So we walked down to the post office, and that was nice. Chatting away to the lady in the post office. Because I talk to anyone, If I've got time, which is never when I'm at work, people sometimes try and have a conversation with me while I'm at work. And it's very, very difficult. Often, sometimes, where I do the karaoke, I'm standing on a stage, okay? And sometimes I have to come down from the stage and do something. And as you're walking up, it might be something like pick up a pen. Because I have to keep picking up the pens from the tables and put them back in the box. Otherwise, people nick them. People like Ray Reynolds, they've got like little stalls on marketplaces and things like that. And they sell my pens. I mean, it took me ages to nick them from the Metro Bank. God's sake. And then you nick them from me. So I pick up the pens and put them back in a box. The same with the books. There might be someone's put in a request sheet and I can't read what they've written. I'll say, what does that say, please? Someone get offended. What do you mean you can't read that? Well, I can't read your writing, Matt. Well, can't you read English? Yes, I can read English. I can't read your bloody writing, dear. I mean, I should set up some sort of printer or something, with a keyboard at the front so that they can type, so I can read the damn requests. So I do that, or I might want a glass of water or a cup of tea, or talk to a member of the bar staff, or quietly chat to the security about someone. Because your eye's everywhere. You see everything that's going on in a pub when you're standing up there. And then people will try and talk to you. Or hand you a bit of paper or something. And 2 things happen there. Number one, if you start talking to me, then there's a good chance I won't get back to the stage for the end of the song. This happened 3 times on one day last week. I can't remember what day it was now. 3 times I didn't manage to get back to the stage on time. And there was a gap. We don't like gaps, dear. But it wasn't my fault. People keep talking while you're trying to walk around. And like other times, people hand you bits of paper with requests on it, which I understand that. Okay, thanks. And then you got the bit of paper and you put it in your pocket. You get back up there, you completely forgotten you got it. An hour later, someone will say, you haven't done my song yet. Oh, did you give me a bit of paper? Yeah, I gave it to you as you were walking around. And then you realise it's still in your pocket. So much to remember, dear. So much. Anyway, so we had a little walk up to the post office, which was nice. And came back, had a sleep. And last night I went to my... and I had lunch. I had a lovely couple of rolls at the bakery. I had a cheese and onion roll and a piece of apple pie for lunch. Really nice that was. There's this baker's here. It's proper old school bakery. Now, Greg's is all right. It's nothing like this bakery here. They've got lovely bakeries in Cyprus. Have you ever been there? Fantastic. Great big massive place with loads of staff, biscuits and cakes and all these different breads. Bakeries in Cyprus. Well, it's not as big as that, but they've got a massive selection of cakes and pastries and all lovely things in this bakery near my sister's in Woodhall Spa. So that's where I got a few bits for lunch. Came back here, had a sleep, and last night I went round to my nephew's to see great nephew Harry and great nieces Olivia and Evie. But two of them weren't in there. Olivia was there because, of course, she's severely disabled. Olivia, she's got like a electric bed. She's in the bed or a pram all the time. She can't walk or anything like that. She was in, but the other two weren't in, and they'd gone to see The Lion King, the new musical, the new film, The Lion King. I love it, don't you? Right, what's that song? And the circle of life, it's a real beginning. I love that one. Love the circle of life and all that. So they were at the cinema last night. They'd gone to the 5 o'clock performance. That's the RAF going over at the moment, practicing. I got to Gary's house at about 7, but they weren't back yet. In fact, I don't think they got back till about 9 o'clock. So I just sat in the living room chatting to my nephew. And unfortunately, I went into a cupboard and I found a large bar of Cadbury's Dairy Milk chocolate. You know, which I said, can I just have a piece of that? He said, well, it's not mine, it's Stacey's, that's his wife. So well, she won't miss a couple of squares off that. So I broke a bit off the end and I had that and put it back in the cupboard. Then I went back and I had the rest of it. And I hid the wrapper in my pocket. You can't have chocolate in the house, not in here. If I bought a multi-pack of chocolate in here, it'd all been gone quickly. Can't have chocolate in the house. So a nice bit of chocolate. And then the children came in and that was nice. Harry, great nephew Harry, he's 6. He's got this thing about farting on people at the moment. And he thinks it's hilarious. Well, I think it's hilarious as well, actually. He comes and pretends to sit on your lap and then farts. And last night's one he did on my leg was really powerful because I could feel the fat on my leg vibrating when he let one go. Awful. Awful. It's bad enough for little boys. Evie has started doing it as well. And I said to Evie, it's not the sort of thing little girls do. You know, little boys shouldn't do it, but they can get away with it. Not little girls. It's not nice, Evie. She's 7. Little girls shouldn't be farting on people or burping or doing stuff like that. That's not a girl thing. Unless, of course, you live in Islington and you're bilinear or something like that. You know. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. So that was that. And they bought out this little packet of Lego. So we did this Lego thing. It was a bag, apparently. Now, where did this come from? Oh, yeah, when they were at Legoland back in March, I can't remember, you know, earlier this year, they stayed at the Castle Hotel. Horrendously expensive place to stay, but nevertheless, that's where they stayed. And they got these little gifts. They were bags of Lego, not boxes, little bags of Lego. So there's small models. And they kept one of them. I think this particular one was Olivia's. So they got that down and we got a tray out and we were doing this Lego together. And it's funny. When you start doing something with one of them, the other one, I want to do it too. Oh, and it becomes, and they start arguing. But I got it first. Yeah, but I want to play too. Yeah, but I got it first. It gets a bit like that. So I've got this instruction sheet. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, right, Evie, you do 1 to 4. Okay. Is that all right, Harvey? Oh, I want to do that. No, let Evie do 1 to 4 and you can do 5 to 8. Oh, okay then. So they were happy with that. Which is good. So Evie done steps 1, 2, 3, and 4. You know, you get the big brown bit at the bottom, put the red bricks there, put the and then the number 2, you put that thing on there. Number 3, you stick that. Get it? So she gets number 4. Number 5 comes, right? We move the tray over there. Harry starts doing it. The trouble with Evie is she must keep interfering all the time. And of course, Harry doesn't like it. So now Harry's trying to do his bit. Oh, you need that bit. No, leave it, Issa. Leave it. I want to do this. This is my turn. And I have to keep telling her, you know, Harry doesn't interfere with when she's doing her bits. But she keeps interfering when he does his bit. And it's so annoying. Of course, you mustn't get mad. You know, it's just how they are. So I have to keep telling him, no, telling her, no, this is Harry's turn. Right? Leave him to do it. And I suppose she's only trying to help, really. And then Harry's like, oh, I can't find the red one. Oh, it's over there, Evie said. No, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Anyway, so we got to the end eventually and we made this thing. And it's only a little thing. What was it now? It was I didn't know what it was. Apparently it's a dinosaur cave. That's what it was. A dino, because it comes with a little dinosaur, a leg of chicken, because the dinosaur was eating the rest of it, and a couple of bones. It's a dinosaur cave. So we did that. And then after that, Harry decided he wanted to play hide and seek with it. So he hid it somewhere. And eventually I found it. Right? And then I hid it. And I hid it above, on top of a door. So, okay, find it now. So Harry and Evie are now looking for this thing. And they're nowhere near it. They're looking down, you see. They're not looking up. It's literally, it's so obvious where it's up there. And I'm going, you're cold. You're warm now. You're warm now. Oh, you're very hot, Harry. No, you're cold again. Oh, Evie, you're hot now. You're hot now. And one of them then grabbed the door to look behind it, pulled the door, and the thing fell on the floor and broke into 1,000 pieces. So they had to put it all back together again, unfortunately. Never mind, eh? Anyway, it was a good fun. I left there about 10 o'clock, came back here, I did myself some dinner, and I watched Holby City. And there's been a story running in Holby City, which I'll tell you about in a second. Let's just read some of your messages now, boys and girls. Let's have a look here. Adrian, when you're at work, you seem to have time to get on my rear end constantly, Chris. I don't think so, Adrian. You may dream about that at some point if you want to, but I don't think that's ever going to happen, lovey. I don't think so, darling. Now, you see, Adrian says, why don't you get people to text the requests sent to you so that the name can be clearer? It's not just the name, it's the songs who can't read half the bleeding writing on some of these request sheets. But there is the option to Facebook me your karaoke requests. People sometimes do that as well. What tends to happen is that people Facebook you their karaoke request. Then they write it down and come up to you, give you a piece of paper with the same thing written down, and then they say, did you get my Facebook message? It was a bit like that when fax machines were first invented. Do you remember that? You'd send someone a fax. I don't think anyone has fax machines now. You'd send someone a fax, and then you'd ring them up. Did you get the fax? Well, of course I got the fax. They do the same with Facebook messages. So, yeah, the option is always there. If you've got Facebook, then you can just message over your request. And that's all right. I do, if people are going to be late, I do ask them to do that as well. You can come late to a thing as long as you've sent your request in. If you walk into a place that's doing karaoke, which finishes at 11 o'clock and it's 11:15 and you're demanding to sing, it's not going to happen, I'm afraid, because there are people that have been sitting there all night patiently waiting for their turn. All right. There's a bakery in Marlow, is there? Adrian says, near the bridge. Oh, that sounds nice. Lots of cakes, breads, and a nice cup of tea. Oh, yes. That does sound nice. Good morning, Stuart Skinner. The mistake in YouTube is the year. Does it read 20,109, is it? Oh, dear. Well, I'll change it after the show. I can change it afterwards. Otherwise, we'll just spend all the time doing technical stuff and not doing a show. Have you been... I don't know what that is, Stuart. I'll have to look later. Evie and... there we are. Evie, Harry and Olivia saying good morning. There you are. Have you fixed the Lego yet, you three? Huh? Have you put the Lego back together? Never mind. So that was my day. So then I come back and watched, as I say, Holby City. And there's been this story running at the moment. Dom, who is one of the doctors in the series, young gay doctor, right? He recently, a few months ago now, found out that he was adopted. Now, he's in his early 30s, I would say. And he's only recently found out he was adopted. And it was all a bit of an accident how he found out. He found out that he had another mum and this, that and the other. Anyway. So, once he'd found out, he then rejected the lady who adopted him. Now, I class her as his mother, right? I was adopted myself, and the lady who adopted me, and of course the man, are my mum and dad. End of story. No question about it. That is my mum and dad. And I had the most amazing parents, I tell you that. I cannot tell you one single time that they let me down. Not once. I was so lucky. They are my mum and dad. Anyway, and I don't remember when I was told I was adopted. It must have been a very, very early age because I can't remember that. But nevertheless, they are my mum and dad. End of story, right? Dom only didn't get told he was adopted till he was 30, and his adoptive mother, I don't think, had ever found the right time to tell him. Do you know what I mean? There are certain things that you've got to get right with timing, I think. You can't just say anything at any time. And I don't think his mother had ever found the right time to tell him. Anyway, so he found out by accident, and then eventually he asked, yes, you were adopted, and this, that, and the other. And immediately he rejected his adoptive mother. And it's just been incredibly sad over the last couple of months, actually, this story has been developing. And she tries to talk to him and is just, quite frankly, rude. Remember, this would be the lady that brought him up for 30 years since he was a little baby, wiped his bum, listened to all his problems, accepted when he decided he was gay and all that, although that's only a small part of the story. The whole gay thing, it's a very small part of the story. And it's just totally rejected her. And I've been watching this woman. I know it's only a story. Okay, sometimes you try and have this conversation with people and oh, Chris, you're getting so irate. It's only a story. And I think, oh, why did I even bother to talk to you about it? You know? Some people are really funny like that. But anyway, and I've been watching this lady get more and more upset and unhappy. And she's tried to talk to him and he's just pushed her away every time. And it ended up with me actually detesting the character that he is. It's only an actor, it's only a story, but I detested the character for the way he treated this woman who had brought him up. Shocking, absolutely shocking. And it resolved itself last night and I was so pleased. So pleased. He was doing an operation. Holby City is a programme on BBC One Colour every Tuesdays. He was doing an operation with another doctor and something else, other stuff has happened, right? And now he doesn't know what to do. And he said to this bloke doing an operation, he said, are you all right? Said the other bloke. Yeah, I'm fine. Is this to do with the whole, I can't remember the name of the Carol and someone else. Say Carol and Mary. Is this all to do with Carol and Mary? What is it? And I think he said he's like being pulled in both directions. Okay. Now, his adoptive mother has now decided to leave the country and go and live with her sister. The husband, it's all gone wrong with her husband, so that's finished. So she's very much on her own now. And she's been rejected by him, so she's going to live with her sister. And he said, no. He said, no. Why? Do I have a say in this? She said, well, am I your mother? And he's like, well, no. She said, well, then you're not my son, are you? And you knew she was putting up a front. She was putting up, it was very difficult for her to say that. She said, no, I'm going. She said, I'm going. She said, and something like, I wish you a really good life. You enjoy your new life with your new mum, with your proper mum, because I'm not really your mum. This is what the adoptive lady was saying. But you could see that she was having trouble saying it. You know, she was forcing herself to say this. So he's now at the operation. And the other doctor said to him, he said, look, he said, you've got one pulling you one way, one pulling you the other way. One has now let go of you. Which one do you think loves you the most? And he had thought about it. And he said, the one who let me go so I could live my life how I want to. And that was it. That was it. Oh, isn't it? It's tearful. It's tearful. And then he went back and made up with his mum. Isn't that lovely? At last. And that's been going on for months, that story. And it resolved last night. And I'm so pleased about that. I don't know how you could possibly reject someone like that who had brought you up for so many years. Wonderful. Wonderful way to finish it off. Okay. Hello, Ben Parker. Oh, here's... let's have a look. Yeah, that's it. That's the story there, Ben. I love it. It was the story about the adopted child being bullied, who was put down by bullies by saying, my mum and dad chose me. You had to put up with you. Yeah. Yeah, John, no, I'm not making you sad because it was a nice resolution at the end. You know, if you don't mind me telling you, I found my natural mother. And, but I never really classed her as my mother. She's died as well now, a couple of years ago. I classed her as a very good friend who was very like me. I could never class her as my mother. That's not to say I hated her or anything like that. No, there was none of that business. No, I accept the fact that, you know, for some reason I had to be given away. I was so lucky to be adopted by those two wonderful people, my mum and dad. You know? So there we are. That's the story there. So it's a nice ending there. Oh, they're waiting for me to go around and do the Lego again. I'm going swimming, dear. I'm going swimming. Michael says, eating dinner late at night. You don't sleep well. No, I do sleep well, actually. That's the normal time for me to have dinner. Is sort of late at night, really. Okay. Now, I've got a job here. This is a lovely, lovely job for someone who likes animals. Are you ready? It's in this morning's Metro. Now, you need to be in Manchester for this. Who's in Manchester? Is that you? No, is that you, Mike? No, someone's in Manchester on here, aren't they? In this morning's Metro, the RSPCA in Manchester are looking for cat cuddlers and rabbit socialisers to help out. Do you like animals? We love cats. We love cats. Except my nephew's cats, Apollo and Belle. Because they're just strange cats. They're scary. Apollo is this gorgeous black cat. And it just suddenly jumps up and stares at you like that. And it wants to be stroked. And it's all right until you stroke it. Then you start stroking it and it will come on your lap and settle down and all that. The trouble is, once you stop stroking it, it bites you. The other one is all right. You stroke it for a while, but then it gets fed up and that one bites you as well. So I'm a bit scared of my nephew's cats, to be honest. Anyway, the RSPCA Manchester. The charity is advertising the volunteer roles after taking in 31 cats and kittens and 49 rabbits, 5 mice and 1 hamster since it opened at the Salford branch 2 weeks ago. Have you been to Salford? Pff, that's a dodgy place, that is. God knows why the BBC ever moved there. That's a date. My mate, he used to run a radio station in Manchester. He had his mobile phone nicked once while he was on the phone to me. I kid you not. Branch manager Susie Hughes told the Manchester Evening News, as you can imagine, we have to hit the ground running with so many animals which are desperately in need of our help. We're looking for volunteers to help us care for the animals and have already filled the cat socialiser roles, as they are always the most popular. But who doesn't want to sit and cuddle kittens all day? Oh, yes, please. Meow. And their little voices, aren't they? Meow, meow, meow. My mate's got a cat. Oh, he's coming damaged. Yeah, my mate was at home last night. The big cat, he's got a big cat, Ralph. Oh, gorgeous cat. He's like grey, like a silvery grey and white and black. The kids round here call him Blackface because he's like part of his face is black. And they go up to me, mate, where's Blackface today? And my mate goes, his name is Ralph. They call him Blackface. This cat's got a black face. Well, it turned up last night with a big mark down its down its face, like a big mark down its face, and it was limping. So we're not sure if it's had a fight or possibly it might have been hit by a car. So I've got to ring him a little bit later and see how his cat is. It's a big cat. Let me tell you, you wouldn't want to row with that cat. That could do some serious damage to you if you upset it. It's never ever shown any sort of aggression to me whatsoever. I'm very careful with pet cats, you know. Some people are with dogs and what have you. But with cats, I'll go up to them, you know, all right, and I'll move my hand slowly towards them like that and just stop. And if it has a little sniff like that, then usually once it's had its sniff, you're all right. You know, if it goes like that, then you don't want to be near it. I never forget great nephew George when he was about 4 years old. He was around my house with my niece, and I had a cat called Katie at the time. She was my mother's cat. When I lost my mother in 2000, I took the cat on, and so we're in the garden. This cat's sort of relaxing in the middle of the garden. I've gone up and given it a stroke, no problem at all. And then George walked over to it, and it immediately got up, and it was kind of backing off a bit. I said, "Oh, I don't know, George," and his dad, Ben, said, "No, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. It'll be all right." And as he's gone down to stroke it, it's taken a swipe at his hand, like that. For some reason, it didn't like George. I don't know why, but it's a strange face, isn't it? So, cat cuddling. It says that we are also looking for people keen to help us out with cleaning the animals, spending time socialising with the animals, and end-of-day feeding, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m, which will suit people who have an early finish from work. Full training will be provided. So that's the RSPCA at what did I say it was? Salford in Manchester. Salford in Manchester. They want volunteer rabbit, small animal care assistants, volunteer rabbit socialisers, volunteer cat care assistants, volunteer cat cuddlers socialisers, volunteered weekend reception staff. Come on, girls. Who wants that important job of a receptionist? Just imagine all that power, like at the doctor's surgery. Reception, can I help you? No, I'm afraid the doctor can't speak to you at the moment. He's very, very busy. I can get you an appointment in for 9 weeks' time. Well, it's the only one left. Do you want it or not? Thank you, goodbye. The power that those receptionists have. They also want volunteer cat and dog home visitors. So perhaps something for you. You know, if you're near the Manchester area. Sounds quite a nice thing to do, really, doesn't it, eh? Adam's off to New York today. Oh, how marvellous. We will be watched internationally in New York. Well, hang on a minute. That'll be about 9:30, 8, 7, 6, 5. That'll be about 4:30 in the morning in New York, I think. I think you're behind there. I'm sure you are. You're 5 hours. That'll be 4:30 in the morning. You'll have to set your alarm up to watch the programme, dear. Are you going to visit LaBelle? I do hope you find time to visit my friend LaBelle over there. Okay? Claire. We are lucky enough to know the adopted daughter of my sister. Never thought we would, but she made contact unexpectedly in her early 30s, and now we are all good friends. That's a thing there, Claire, I think. I think your natural mother or father, I think the relationship there, certainly for me, was good friends. It wasn't mother-son, it was good friends. Absolutely, good friends. Although we do look very, very alike, or at least when she was alive, we did, you know. We looked very, very alike. I think if you're adopted, I think the relationship, maybe no difference. Perhaps 1 or 2 of you were adopted. Maybe some of you aren't saying, that's fine. You know, don't reveal things to me if you don't want to. But yes, I think in a lot of cases, when people find their natural parents, they become good friends. Should you tell your adoptive parents or not that you found them? I told my mum that I'd found my natural mother, but only when she asked. She asked. and she asked about 2 days before she died. That's my mum. When my mum died in 2000, in the hospital, she asked if I've ever found my mother, and I said yes. And it was kind of left at that point, I think. And I went away from the hospital wishing that I'd lied. I wish that I'd lied. I wish I hadn't told her that I'd found my natural mother. I don't know why, if it was the right thing to do or not the right thing to do. I wish I hadn't told her, but you can't undo things, you know. Sometimes we make these mistakes along the way. But if you were adopted, I think you should think very, very carefully about telling your adoptive parents whether or not you found your natural mother. Sometimes it's not all about you. It's not all about you. I don't think I would ever have told her unless she'd have asked. And right at the end, she asked. But hindsight tells me that I wish I'd told a little white lie. I don't think there's anything wrong with a white lie now and again to protect someone's feelings, you know. Let's just scroll back there. Stella says, I can tell you from personal experience, I have a stepmum who's always been good to me. I consider her more of a mum. And we have a stepbrother. I also have an adopted brother. He never found out till he was 29. There we go. He was angry about the lies and disowned all of us. I've tried to reach out several times, but he won't talk to us. Oh, I'm sorry, Stella. That's a shame. You see, as I say, I was told so early on. I can't remember when I was told. Maybe that's the answer, to be told very early on. Maybe if you leave it till you're older, then it goes wrong a bit. I don't know. Adrian, was the cat trying to do an impression of you, Chris, for the limping? I don't limp, do I? I do sometimes. I have bad knees sometimes. Sometimes I get bad knees. Thomas says cats are finicky for a reason, are they? Some do get overexcited when stroked and even bite. Yeah, that's my nephew's cats, that is. Shania, one of her jobs is a receptionist. Do you know, that doesn't surprise me, Shania. I think you could be a particularly good receptionist at stopping people from getting to see the doctor. Good morning, reception. Can I help you? Oh dear. Hello to Dominique. Thank you, Dominique. It's 5:15. Yeah, so they're 5. Thank you very much, Dominique. They're 5 hours behind in New York. Okay. So Adam, you're 5 hours behind. You'll have to set your alarm for 5 o'clock tomorrow morning if you want to join us. All right. Ray Reynolds watched Kitten Rescue with Joe Brand yesterday on Visat Nature, a channel from Sweden showing British TV programmes. Ray's got a big satellite dish. One of Ray's, you know, we all have our thing. Do you know what I mean? You've got your thing. One of my things is sitting here doing this show. One of my things is swimming. One of my things is gardening. One of Ray's things is he's got a really good television system. And he's got like a movable satellite dish. And he likes to tune in to TV stations all over the world. And records a lot of them. And watches it. And he finds that's one of his things. That's where some of his money goes. And I find it fascinating when he tells me about all these things. Like he was watching the breakfast shows in Australia. Of course, you can probably still do this now on the internet now, I suppose. But it's not the same. It's not the same sitting here, typing in a little website address and then having anything pop up, rather than having the actual hardware, which Ray's got, a big, not massive, but a big satellite dish. And he pushes a couple of numbers and the thing turns round and points at a new satellite. It's a bit like having CB radios and mobile phones. Now, mobile phones really did kill off CB radios, but there's still some people up there. There's still some people out there. I mean, I've got one myself, which isn't set up. I was disappointed when I set it up. That's back at the house in Berkshire a couple of years ago. My mate bought me a CB for my birthday. And I set it up, big area on the side. But I found it difficult to break into conversations, which it wasn't like in the 80s. But to be able to set up this radio and say hello and talk to someone that you've never met before, how exciting is that? There's still room for CB radio out there, I reckon. Claire, My niece wasn't sure about telling her adoptive parents, and I don't know if she did. I'd love to meet them, but it's up to her what she wants to do. Well, please share my story with her, Claire. Think very carefully if you're going to tell your adoptive parents. I think it might hurt them. Did my mum show any sign of being hurt when I told her? Not really. No, not really. At least I didn't see it. I did look for it. Should I have told you that? It was. I don't know. I don't know. If my mum was back here, undead, is that the right thing to say? If my mum was back here undead, and I had the second opportunity to tell her, then I wouldn't have told her. No. But, you know, it's one of those things. It's gone now, isn't it? Mike says, names not as popular today than they used to be. Oh, we were going to do that. We've left that a bit late now, Mike, haven't you? I think we might say, can you come in at the beginning of the show and let me know that, Mike? You're just trying to keep me going for another hour, aren't you? I ain't got time to sit here for another hour. I've got a swimming pool to go to. Stella watches a show in Spain. Don't always take any notice, but it comes on. I think that's the case for most people who have this on. Stella, to be honest, they don't take much notice. It's just on in a corner somewhere. A little bit like Love Island. Royston has said, I can't watch as he does not want an alarm going off at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. Hit him, Adam. Hit him. These boyfriends must be smacked up into. Is that the right term? Smacked up? No, that's drugs, isn't it? It means, is that smacked up? Is that when you inject yourself with drugs? I think. No, these people must be beaten into submission, Adam. Don't take anything like that. Oh, I don't. All this domestic violence rubbish that goes on. Listen, I have a thing here with domestic violence, Adam. If the person concerned was doing what they are told, then they wouldn't get beaten up, would they? What's wrong with people? I mean, it's so obvious. Ray can get the USA now on IPTV through the router. I Love Lucy is on Hallmark at the moment, so he does watch all these wonderful programmes. How do you know about Radio 23? Mike, how do you know about Radio 23? Oh my God, how do you know about that? Have I mentioned that before on the programme or something? Or do you know me from the past? You just dropped a little thing in there. God, Thomas says it's good to let bygones be bygones. I think you're right, Thomas. I think you're right. But there are things that you've done in your past that perhaps you wish you hadn't done or said. And then, I've got something. Perhaps will I tell you? I've got something that happened that I did in my past, which I'm not really, which shouldn't really have happened. I suppose you could say, I did something that shouldn't really have happened, but I'm alive. I'm probably still alive because of it. That's as far as I can go with that one. So had I not done this thing in the past, when I say I shouldn't have done it, I didn't do anything wrong. It's just a route that I took that I shouldn't have taken. But I did take the route. Had I have not taken that route, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today. That's the truth. That's the absolute truth. Funny, isn't it, how different things happen like that. Good. Shania's receptionist at a school. Oh, do you get to beat the kids as well, Shania? Get down off that chair. Stop talking. What? Oh no, you're not allowed to hit them anymore, are you? How disappointing. Adam was adopted when he was 9 years old. That's when he was told. Perhaps that's the answer there. To be told very early on in your life. How do you know about Radio 23? That was my little house radio station that I had. I have told you about it before. I won't tell you about it again now. All right. Can you please do a show from 5 p.m. tonight for 8 hours, and I will ask the captain to stream it on the plane. You're not going in those posh seats, are you, Adam? Are you in economy or what? Are you in economy? You won't have any internet in economy, mate. You're having a laugh, ain't you? You don't even have a meal in economy on British Airways. I think you just get a sandwich now. Make sure you have a nice meal at the airport, dear. Or even better than that before you get to the airport, because it will be expensive there. When I say expensive, you know, if you're going on holiday, I think you tend to spend more anyway. You know, you'll probably get 2 decent meals. I think there's a Weatherspoon. Are you at Heathrow? I'm sure there's a Weatherspoons at Heathrow. Or a cheapy foodie restaurant in there. Or at the end of the day, you'll find just a burger joint. We'll have something there, okay? Adrian says, let's have a look. We all know Radio 23. I tried to interview once for the original GAY radio and you refused because it was only on AM. We only go on FM and digital, dear. No AM stations. Adrian, I think people should be careful what they say and why. And if you think your setting, which is wrong, then go back and readjust and apologise if you're wrong. And if you say something, then do it. I hate people saying things, they do things and they don't do it. And they find it immensely annoying. I hate that as well. People say they're going to do something and they don't. Or they don't turn up. Or they're very late. Oh, it's so annoying. Good morning, Maddie. Over on Vaughan Live. She says, I think you did the right thing by telling your mum you had found your biological mum. We all need to know where we came from. I'm sure she felt happy for you, Chris. I hope so. I hope so. I hope she didn't get upset. By knowing that. It almost feels, as the adopted person, it almost feels like you're what's the word now? That you're disrespecting your adoptive parents by finding your natural ones. It's almost, I felt disrespectful. Is that strange? I did. As I say, it's not all about you all the time. You have to think, and this is the trouble with life these days. People just thinking of themselves all the time and no one else. I, me, want this, want that, want that. No one thinks of anyone else anymore. So many people like that. And so many people don't apologise for anything. I was watching this YouTube video this morning. Someone was being interviewed. And it was a young male person. They were talking about drinking and he kept getting drunk all the time. And there's an older lady on the stage. It was an old chat show. And he was really rude to her. And the host was telling him to apologise. And he was doing everything but apologise. Well, you know, we're only having a laugh. Or apologise to her. Well, it's only a laugh. And he wouldn't say sorry. There are times when you need to say sorry. There absolutely is. There absolutely is. Let's have a look here. Thank you, Maddie, for that. John says, I can't believe I'm still here. I've been through the drugs and booze and survived. Yeah, well done, John. You know, not everyone comes through it all. I think one of the things with the whole booze and the drugs thing as well, a lot of people doing it in their younger years, you must stop at a certain point, because I think as a younger person, you can take all this drink and drugs and what have you. I think you can. Not always. Don't get me wrong. People have died from taking a dodgy pill or having too much booze, something like that. But generally, you know, as a younger person, you can handle it more. Once you start getting into your 40s, your body is not so good at handling things, is it? And I know people of my age who are still going to the clubs, to raves and that, and doing what they were doing when they were in their 20s. And I don't think they last very long. Not so sure. Adam was 2 weeks old when he was adopted. Oh, bless. Oh, just a little baby. He was a little baby. Thomas, good people do reflect on things they could have handled better. I think I could have handled that better, yeah. Live and learn. It wasn't like a shouty thing. It was a very quiet thing. Yeah, I can see Mum laying now on a hospital bed, and she's just said, she was very quiet. Did you ever find your mum? And I said, and I looked at her, and there was a pause there where I thought about what shall I say here, which was never the case. I never had to think about what I was going to say to my mum, but on that case, there was a bit of a pause, and I'm like, yes, Mum, yes, I did, and she was, okay, and that was it, But I wish I'd never said yes. Adam says, I have the exit seat. Did you pay extra for that, Adam? and all-inclusive meals. Meals. M-I-double-L-S? Come on, Adam, I know you can spell all right. Check your damn spelling. He's got all-inclusive meals and in-flight entertainment and Wi-Fi and economy. Oh, dear. You'll be able to stretch those old legs out of yours, dear. Watching those people squashed up behind you. And don't forget, the moment you can, Adam, push that seat back like that to upset the people behind you. Wait till they've got a meal on the little table or a drink and then push the seat back quickly and it goes all over their laps. Make sure you have a camera running at the time, though, dear. All right? Thank you. Let's just scroll down a little bit. Thank you, John. There is indeed a Wetherspoons at Heathrow Airport. Oh, you'll be all right. Go in there for a meal, John. You're having a meal on a plane. Well, it depends how much you want to eat, really. You know, I have to tell you, the first meal on the plane will come round fairly quickly, within sort of 45 minutes of you being on the flight. So don't have a big meal. Don't buy a... If you paid to have meals on the plane, then wait for those, I would say. Right, okay, let's just scroll down. Morning to Robert Dexter. Morning, Robert. Happy day to you. 11 months sober. Congratulations, Robert. Not an easy thing to do if you're a bit of a, you know, I hope you won't mind me, a bit of an alkie. Perhaps you was a bit of an alkie before. And it's not an easy thing, like smoking. A very, very good friend of mine, I won't tell you his name, was an alcoholic for years and nearly killed himself. He was quite a famous person, actually. He nearly killed himself, and but he kept off it, and I think he's gone to 25 years now. You know, so you've got a little bit longer to go there, Robert. But yeah, well done, congratulations. All right. Now this one. Here's one from Adam. I looked for my biological mother, and things did not work out with her. I asked my mum if it would be okay to do this, and she said, no matter what, I'm still your adoptive mother, and I love you unconditionally. And I think your mum would have thought the same, Chris. I hope so. Stella says, wait till you hit 50. It's all downhill and much slower. Stella, I'm 56, mate. I've been 50 for 6 years now. It is that you do want to take things slower, though. Maybe that's why I like it up here at the caravan. You know, things are a lot slower up here, I must say. Stella, I always choose the rear seat on a plane. And I say very loudly, if we crash, they die first. I've had a slap of a trolley dolly. Have you really? And finally, let's just one more message here from Ray Reynolds, and then we'll do today's birthdays. The reason your mum asked you at the end of her life about your real mother is that she needed conclusion, and it was on my mind as she lay there. Right, let's do today's birthdays, boys and girls. Happy 47th birthday today to Jonathan Swaddle. Good morning, Jonathan. 47 today. Jonathan is an excellent drag queen. Candy the Slag in Drag is his drag name. And I haven't worked with him for, blimey, 15 years or so. But and I only worked with him about 3 or 4 times. But I just loved his drag character. Candy the Slag in Drag. Jonathan Swaddle today, 47 years old. Happy birthday to you, sir. Jody Langwood. Good morning, Jody. 37 years old today. Is in Roehampton, where I was brought up. Mr. Andrew Hunt with a H. 59 years old today. Good morning, Andrew. Mike Bayliss. Good morning, Mike Bayliss. Love the teddy. Tim. Didn't we do your birthday yesterday, Tim? 29. I think you must have about 3 profiles up there. Well, I don't know what day your birthday is. Is it today or was it yesterday? Happy birthday anyway. Louise Wern is 51 years old today. And Jean Shaw today is a young 72 years old. So happy birthday, boys and girls. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. There we are. Happy birthday, boys and girls. Liz Hargreaves joining us right at the end of the show there. She's in Ireland. Good morning to you, Liz. We're just about to finish now, my darling. However, you haven't missed the show. Give it 10 minutes and log back onto YouTube, round about where you are now, and you should find today's show as a recording. All right, Michael Lawrence, when I fly, I go first or business class. when I go to the US. I don't blame you, mate. I don't blame you at all, mate. That's very, very good. Very good. That's it for the show today. Thanks ever so much for joining us, boys and girls. Hopefully I'll see you again at some point tomorrow morning. Enjoy your Wednesday. I'm off to the swimming pool. Cheerio now.